Hey everyone, this is Idy from Hush Hush Mag. Today I'm going to be talking about my somehow temporary move of sorts to LA from Seattle, which I think I kind of mentioned it briefly in past videos, but wanted to share what the experience was like and what I think of it so far while I've been here. So let's get into it. So from past videos, as you guys might remember, I reviewed Seattle and what a cool city it is. It has its pros and cons like any other city. But after almost 2 years in Seattle and given the pandemic, I wanted to just be closer to family and be somewhere sunnier. And so I was fortunate enough to be able to just make a quick move down to LA. And I say quick because compared to all my other moves, this is probably the shortest move that I've done except for going to college. I moved to Brazil at one point from New York. I moved cross country from Philly to San Francisco. And then I moved from the Bay to Seattle. And then now I've moved kind of to LA. So yeah, I have a lot of experience with moving. And I would say out of all my moves, this one was the most spontaneous move that I did. I think all the other ones I moved because of work, moved for a job, so everything was kind of planned through, and I had an employer that was there to help me sort through the process. This was pretty much the first move that was kind of self-initiated, where I was just like, you know what, let me just pack up for now until we see this pandemic out. So it's unique in that sense that I had to do everything myself. And typically I try to be pretty minimalist in my day-to-day life, and definitely I had the same approach with my move. So I basically just tried to sell everything or just like donate as many things as I could so that I could just come with a handful of suitcases and that's it. And in the end, I ended up coming with 4 suitcases and like 2 like large bags, which just had like pots, pans, plates, things like that. So I'd say that's pretty good. And I just like took it all with me on my flight, and I had to pay for my 4th bag, I think, because I have status with my airline. So I think I got the first 3 bags free, which was really nice. And I just had to pay for the 4th one. And then the other 2 bags of pots and pans, I put it in the trunk of my car and had it shipped with the rest of my car. So it was a pretty smooth move in that sense. And then what do I think of LA? I think my first impression was just like 80 degrees sun. I love it. And I think temperature wise, it's definitely a much better fit for me versus the Pacific Northwest. I think the other major thing I've noticed from being here for an extended period of time is just how friendly people are. In Seattle, people are definitely polite and nice, and if you ask for help, you'll get it. But in California, at least in Southern California, because in the Bay, it wasn't quite the same. In Southern California, people go out of their way to say hi to me, to help me with things, to start up conversation, have small talk, things like that. And people definitely did not do that in Seattle. Seattle definitely had more of a New York vibe where it's like, if you're not dying, I don't need to pay attention to you. So I got used to it and it was fine because I grew up in New York and it's whatever, but definitely moving down here, that's like people trying to talk to me in the elevator or whatever, that's been kind of shocking for me. And yeah, I think it'll take some time to get used to that. Let's see, what else? I think the other thing that's been a bit of a change for me is the fact that it takes 30 minutes to get to most places. In Seattle, it takes 10 minutes, maybe 15 to get to most places, and here it's easily double, if not more. I tried to do like an exploratory adventure on a Saturday to go to Malibu, and it took over an hour, and I was like, why did I do this? I don't want to do this anymore, because being in a car for over an hour, you get antsy, and it's just like, it gets to a certain point where you just don't want to be there anymore. So I'm definitely learning more about myself and my tolerance or acceptance when it comes to transportation and being in cars, which I didn't have to deal with that too much when I was in Seattle, or even in the Bay, to be honest. I just stayed in like my little bubble, but in LA, you're kind of forced to go out to a couple of different places because there's just so much to see and do in all the different neighborhoods. I think the last thing I've been really enjoying about LA is the shopping. And it's crazy because I feel like there's pretty decent shopping even with most stores closed in the pandemic. So I can only imagine pre-pandemic how much better and cooler it was and how much more options there probably were. The main area I'm really checking out right now is called Melrose. And Melrose is just kind of like this street that's like endless and has like all sorts of stores from like consignment and thrift to like high-end vintage to just like all the standard brands you would expect, like Zara, all the way up to like super high-end, nicer stores like Chanel or Gucci or whatever. So I've been checking out that whole strip. Also was checking out the Grove, which is like a shopping mall that has like, it's like open air. There's music in the evenings. They have a farmer's market there, and that's been really, really cool. It's kind of similar to Pike Place Market, but Pike Place Market in Seattle has no shopping. So it automatically makes it a lot better to me. They also have a large Nordstrom there, which is nice because if you can't find anything at any of the other stores, you can just go to Nordstrom. But yeah, overall, it's been really awesome, and I'm glad I made the move, at least for the pandemic. And so let me know if you guys have any other questions about LA or moving during a pandemic and how I did it without getting corona. And I'm happy to answer any of those questions. That's it for now. Bye.